Now listen to this statement. This is what it means to get the life of the age to come. This is the core of it. This is the thing that really plugs you into the life of the age to come, Jesus said, that they may know you. That's to say, recognize, understand, and know you. He's addressing the Father. And he describes the Father as o monos alitheinos theos, the only one who is genuine God. Guess what? Then all the other gods are fake. And so it does matter that you define God correctly. People say, well, if I just love God, that's all that matters. No, but you better define the right God, that they may come to know you progressively, keep knowing you more and more, recognizing you, understanding you, knowing what you're about. And you are the monos, you can hear the word monotheism here, monos alitheinos theos, monos alitheinos genuine theos. There's monotheism. Christianity is the only world religion which begins by discarding its own founder's creed. Wow. No other world religion would be as bad as that. So I know that God and Jesus are very merciful, and they don't judge beyond what we can reasonably know, but you might consider getting God defined right. Well, Jesus does it well here. He's a Jew, and he defines God as all Jews, always, as a single. So when you're praying, you can celebrate that fact. Dress God as the monos alitheinos theos, the only one who's truly God. And in addition, you have to get to know Jesus, Messiah, whom you have sent as an apostle. But he's not the only true God there, is he? You see it. But now we can get in trouble saying that in all these churches out there today. I couldn't get away with it. You think Jesus isn't God? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. He's not God. There's only one God, that's the Father. 1,300 times in the New Testament, theos, God, means the Father. 1,300 times. Only twice is Jesus ever called God. Once as a messianic king or throne or God, Messiah God, little g, if you like, in Hebrews 1:8, quoting from Psalm 45. And the other place where John reports that Thomas finally got the idea. Thomas didn't see that if you've seen Jesus, you've seen God. Doesn't mean that Jesus is God, but you've seen God at work in Jesus. I get it. Thomas finally got it. He said, my Lord Messiah and my God, I see now. My God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, in you, working in you. So remember that in the stats, 1,300 times, tell your friends, the word God in the New Testament means the Father. 11,000 times in the New Testament, in the whole Bible, the various words for God like Adonai, Theos, Elohim, and Yahweh, about 11,000 times across the Bible. Ask your dear friends across the table, when does that word for God, Elohim, Adonai, Yahweh, Theos, when does it ever mean the triune God? Never. Always. Yahweh is one single person. Elohim is one person as God. You cannot have two Yahwehs. So tell your friends politely and decently, not sarcastically, very gently, very respectfully, very kindly, tell them that God cannot be born. Wow. God cannot be born. And guess what? God cannot die. So if Jesus is God, he didn't die. These things are very easy, but the world is not very advanced. We're very good technologically, but we're very silly when it comes to some of these easy things, I think. So all of that spiel can be run, in your house with your neighbors, if there is. Okay, I love that. John 17:3 is a beautiful, unitary, monotheistic statement. Now, Trinitarians claim to be monotheists. They say, oh, you believe in one God. Oh, yes, we're monotheists. Wait a minute. They've got one finger out here and three fingers behind their back. You don't want to be inconsistent. You cannot make one into three. It's not going to work. Don't try. You're frying your brain. Don't do it. Especially don't do it in front of God, who expects you to worship him in spirit and truth. So I think that God and Jesus are quite pleased when people address them correctly as the one God and the one Messiah. Okay, one other fact here before we leave John 17:3. Did you know that Augustine, the great church leader, probably more influential or equally influential with Paul, Augustine, call him in England, Augustine, no, America, Augustine, I think in England, Augustine, yeah. Augustine, he said, you ready for this? Crime scene coming up. He said, this verse should read, I want them to know you, Father, and Jesus Christ, comma, the only true God. Did you hear that? I'll say it again for the camera. I want you to know, this is the way Augustine reports this verse, in his homilies on John. You can look it up on the internet, homilies on John. You can look it up. He said, this ought to read, I want them to know you, Father, and Jesus Christ, comma, the only true God. Is that a crime or what? You wouldn't get away with that in the law court, not for 10 seconds. But in church, who cares? I'm against that. We've got to be precise and accurate in defining God. The devil out there is very smart. He works with the human mind to twist and distort and contort. And he's not keen on people believing in the true God, I understand, as one. So that's a miracle. You guys are absolute miracles if you're not shaking your fist at the idea that God is one. Now, think of the implications of this. This is absolutely huge. Capital H, big H, U-G-E. This is huge because there are 1 billion Muslims who will not come near a Trinitarian Jesus. And there are millions upon millions of Jews who have been taught to die rather than believe in a triune God. So think through the implications of this. The devil will say, oh, this is doctrine. We don't argue doctrine. We just love everybody. Oh my God, I'm so tired of that. Everything's a doctrine. Every teaching you give in the Bible is a doctrine.
They don't really love us.
But the devil's not keen on these definitions of God and Jesus, I think. So anyway, 17.3 is a fun thing to study with your friends. This is eternal life. Now, this is not, something we do when we can't think of any more to do. We've done good marriages and loving your neighbor and all that. When we're really bored with all that, then we finally might turn to this. No, this is the essence, the core, the substance of the life of the age to come. Jesus said, I like the way he does his theology of God. And God knew that already. But in his prayer, he's still doing it. I like that. This is Jesus now praying right here. It's amazing. That they would know you, O monos alitinos theos, masses of places. We have one God, and we have one Father, Malachi 2:10. To us Christians, Jesus would say, to those Jews, we have one Father who is one God. That's reflecting thousands and thousands of singular pronouns. Let's have an argument. Let's not argue about this. Let's simply state the truth. Let's do it kindly, though. Let's not do it sarcastically, or in an arrogant manner, and prevail with some of our friends.